Hello and welcome back to the My English Matters podcast. I'm Aisya, and today I want to talk about something we get every now and again in our comments section, and that is comments that go something like this. As teachers, you should be using proper English. You shouldn't say gonna or wanna. You're supposed to say going to and want to. And you know what? I get where they're coming from. People often assume that if you're a teacher, you should always speak in textbook perfect grammar. But here's what we believe at My English Matters. Yes, knowing proper grammar is important. Teaching grammar is a big part of what we do in our online classes. We love grammar. But we also believe it's important to help our students, who are mainly working adults, sound natural and fluent when they speak. And that means, yes, we do use contractions and reductions because that's how people actually talk in the real world. So in this episode, I'm going to break down what people really mean when they say proper English, why that idea isn't always helpful, and how using contractions and reductions like I'm, gonna, and wanna can actually help you sound more fluent. We'll also look at how language evolves, what the experts have to say about it, and how you can learn to switch between formal and informal English depending on the situation. By the end of this episode, I hope you'll feel a little more confident in how you speak and a little less worried about sounding wrong just because you don't speak like a textbook. Let's get into it. So let's unpack this term, proper English. What does it even mean? Some people think proper English means speaking like the British monarch, like the King or the Queen of the United Kingdom. Others think it means using formal sentence structure all the time. But the truth is, even linguists and English lecturers will tell you proper English is hard to define. In fact, I came across an article by Michael Groves, a former lecturer at the University of Nottingham, Malaysia, and he said something that I actually agree with. So in his article, he wrote about how rules we were once taught as correct English, like never ending a sentence with a preposition, are now seen as outdated. Like how saying, this is the place I went to is totally normal today, but this is the place to which I went just sounds stiff, like you're auditioning for a part in Downton Abbey. And when people insist that teachers and learners must always use formal English, it can come across a bit like they're clinging to an old school colonial era version of what English should be. Groves also mentions that even the BBC, once considered the gold standard of proper English, is now using phrases like less people came, even though grammar books say it should be fewer people. It just shows how language evolves over time. What used to be labelled wrong is now just how people naturally speak. So the idea that there's one superior way to speak English just doesn't hold up anymore in this day and age. And we gotta get with the times, you know? See what I did there? In reality, English exists on a spectrum, from super formal to super casual, and everything in between. At My English Matters, we teach you to move confidently between those different styles. We teach standard grammar rules during classes so that learners know how to write essays or attend formal interviews, for example. But we also demonstrate how to speak informally so that learners can express themselves naturally in everyday conversations without sounding awkward, stiff, or like they've just memorized lines from a textbook. And part of sounding relaxed and fluent in spoken English is using things like contractions and reductions. So what are contractions and reductions? Contractions are when two words are combined into one shorter word. For example, I am becomes I'm, she is becomes she's, and they will becomes they'll. These forms are grammatically correct and widely accepted, even in many types of writing, depending on the tone and context. Reductions, on the other hand, are more informal and typically used in speech. For instance, want to becomes wanna, going to becomes gonna, did you becomes didja, and have to becomes have to. You'll hear these reductions everywhere, in movies, social media, podcasts, and casual conversations. If you're not familiar with them or haven't been exposed to them enough, it can be really difficult to follow fluent and proficient English speakers, even if you understand the individual words. So, should teachers even be using these? Let's address this properly. The answer, we believe, is yes, depending on the context. Here's our approach. When we're teaching grammar rules, yes, we show the full standard forms so that students can learn the structure clearly. When we're guiding you through formal writing, we encourage you to avoid contractions and stick to more standard usage. But when we're speaking, especially in casual conversation practice, we use contractions and reductions on purpose. See, our job as teachers isn't just to help you know English, it's to help you actually use it in the real world. And in real life, most fluent speakers don't really say, I am going to the shop, like they're the queen. They say, I'm going to go to the shop. See the difference? One sounds formal and rehearsed, and the other sounds effortless, like how people actually speak when they're not overthinking every word. And that's the point. When we're chatting with friends, ordering food, or just living our lives, we don't speak like a textbook. We speak like humans. And contractions and reductions help us sound more fluent, more confident, and more connected. Now let's practice together. I'll say the formal sentence first, then I'll say the more natural version so you can hear the difference, and you can repeat after me. So number 1, here's the formal sentence. I am going to rest now. Now listen to the natural conversational version. I'm going to rest now. Repeat after me. I'm going to rest now. Number 2, here's the formal sentence. Do you want to watch something? Now, in natural spoken English, we'd say, do you want to watch something? Do you want to watch something? And number 3, he is not coming today. He is not coming today. So that's the formal sentence. And the more natural way to say that would be, he's not coming today. He's not coming today. Can you hear how much smoother and more relaxed those sound? So here's what I want to leave you with. Yes, we teach standard English grammar. And yes, knowing correct grammar does matter. But sounding natural matters too if you don't want to sound like a robot or a textbook. If you've ever felt judged for using words like gonna and wanna, just know that you are not doing anything wrong. You're just learning how to be a confident, adaptable speaker of English. It's about knowing how to shift your tone and style depending on the situation. Formal settings call for one version of English. Everyday conversations call for another. Being able to move between the two is a skill that we want our learners to have. If this episode reminded you that your voice matters, share it with someone who could use the same reminder, especially if they've ever been told their English isn't proper enough. And if someone's ever criticized your English for sounding too casual, come tell us. We'll back you up. Until next time, keep learning, keep practicing, and keep speaking in a way that feels natural to you.